I'm gonna cough today, but I'm not sick.
Good, yeah.
I've had it for 3 weeks. I can't get rid of this thing.
Canadian smoke.
What's that? There you go.
Canadian smoke. All right.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's can we get organized?
6 weeks.
Yeah.
I need to get.
Oh God. Why did
My own.
slopes down at the bash?
Listen, don't you go spread the propaganda there. All right?
Mr. Mayor, good evening. Excellent. I was already given the countdown, so chances are we're already on. So, good evening, everybody. Everybody's happy this evening, and Chattery is going crazy. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Rochester Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, July 19, 2023. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll, please.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Chris Johnson. Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Lisa Germani Williams. Roger Knapp.
Yes.
Paul Haig.
Here.
Eric Diana.
Here.
Mayor Bixon.
Here.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Here.
And Marilyn Trent. Here. Lisa Swiftney.
Here.
Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
Christy Trevorrow.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Fantastic. Thank you and welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming to join this happy party this evening. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from June 21st, 2023.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by
Second.
Haig, support by Diana. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Audience comments, well, the ones in the audience are on the agenda, so we'll skip ahead to that in just a second. Let's run through the liaison reports first. City Council Honorable Marilyn Trent, good evening.
Good evening. I think it's the shortest one ever. It was one meeting.
Gotcha.
And our new police chief is here, Mr. George Rohib, was sworn in.
Excellent.
Yes, I learned it, I got that one right. Was sworn in on June 21st in the last meeting. And then Sergeant Mancini received a resolution for his, how many years of service?
24
24.
in Rochester.
24 in Rochester, years of service.
It's fantastic.
And then there was a public hearing on the proposed brownfield plan for the Riverfront Place development. You know where that is, 211 First Street. And of course, the most important news is that I was appointed to the Dementia-Friendly and Age-Friendly Committee as Rochester is working towards being a dementia and age-friendly city to add to that list of Tree City and Monarch Champion City and Big Bright Light City.
The busiest woman in show business. I think that's super important given the proximity to OPC and everything that we're doing here.
I
so
think it's good.
That's
I'm really
fantastic.
interested. My mother being 97 is doesn't have dementia, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm hanging out with
Good to be
elderly
prepared,
people,
just in
so
case.
I know about this. There's other people there as well.
Gotcha. Well, that's fantastic. Congratulations, and thank you for that report. We appreciate it. Chamber of Commerce, Lisa Swiftney, good evening.
Good evening. So what we have coming up is the annual Sunrise Pinnacle Awards is going to be on Friday, October the 6th, and nomination forms will be available on the Chamber website in the next couple of weeks. The Greater Rochester Leadership Class of 23-24 applications will be on the website next week for anyone wanting to attend that. And finally, we are getting ready to have the 2023 Rochester Area Hometown Christmas Parade roll out next month. So save the date for Sunday, December the 3rd.
I'm going to put it in my calendar right now.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah, you
remember?
are now,
I remember.
Do you remember?
Anything else?
We were the only
No, that is
company open
Fantastic.
there.
Thank you for the update. We appreciate any questions for our Chamber of Commerce liaison. Seeing none, we shall march forward to the Historical Commission. Mr. Sinkowitz, good evening.
Good evening, and first and foremost, welcome, Chief. So at this time of year, we're kind of in the middle, reviewing the results of the Founders Day activities earlier in the year, and also the Heritage Festival that occurred at the end of May. So in September, we'll start planning those activities all again. The distribution of the coloring books to the second graders for the Founders Day at the Rochester Museum, and of course the Heritage Festival. With that, I think this last weekend was just outstanding in the city. My wife and my granddaughter made sure that I bring that up as far as the farmer's market, dancing in the street, a very, very exciting weekend. Although I may have to take out a home loan to pay for all the activities, but it was great and.
Well, do it quickly. Interest rates are on the increase.
Don, how did the Heritage Festival do compared to last year?
From a
Financial.
standpoint, you know, the goal, which is one of the issues that we're just discussing, is to break even. That we're the city or anybody that lose money, we're not really intending to make money on the festival. As far as attendance go, the overall attendance was slightly better.
Good.
And we're anticipating that with some of the activities that we're looking at for next year, that will increase the attendance. The attendance is what's gonna drive the financials. So, and the car show, the Lions, they do exceptionally well.
Yes, they do.
They draw their own crowd, so overall, it was, we can't say it's successful, but defining that.
It was very positive.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Fantastic. Any other questions? Thank you for your report. We appreciate it. Principal Shopping District, Mr. Hay.
We didn't have a meeting this last month because of all sorts of things, so I will report next week.
All right, very
Or
good.
next month, rather.
Man, we have got the hammer down on this meeting. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is good. This may be a long meeting.
Well, no, actually now 6A Nick's up, so it could drag out.
Oh, yeah.
All goes downhill from here.
So not to say that Chief George is a overachiever, but his first year and a half here now, he's written 1,452 tickets, which netted us like $100,000. He forced 3 officers to retire, but he hired 2 sergeants. He's had 14 drug busts. That's his former community. Sorry, I got just mixed up. Right? So, no, just not ripping up. But Chief George Rohib, so proud of his transition with Chief Steve. It was a heavy process that we went through. Obviously, he rose to the top. I mean, this is a fine man, a family man, a father, police officer. I'm gonna let him tell you for how many years, et cetera. But him and Chief Steve, how he graciously let Steve transition out, and Steve graciously transitioned Chief George in. And it's been seamless. The people love him. The staff loves him. He's extremely thorough. Notes for everything, follow up, communicator, all the good stuff that we were hoping for. And it doesn't matter what Chief Steve did, or nobody's got shoes anybody can ever fill. He's creating his own niche already for us. And I couldn't be more proud on that city council. And we all saw that the talents this man's gonna bring in. His family is solid. So we're very excited to have him here. I'm so excited to have him here is what he's brought to the team already. He just fit in, and he's got great ideas, and he's not afraid to let us know what he thinks, but he's also a humble man. So great qualities to have in your police chief and as a part of our team. So I'm gonna let George introduce himself, chief, a little bit, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Mr. Banda. Yeah, I will miss Chief 1. He's Chief 1, I'm Chief 2 for now. He's Chief 1's on vacation, but, you know, the transition, I must say, it's been very smooth. And I will miss him. He's done a lot for this community, a lot for the department, and everyone's telling me that I do have some big shoes to fill, and I promise you I will fill them. And I want to commend all of you. I always wanted to meet the people that are behind the beauty in this community. I just can't tell you how proud I am to represent this community and to be the leader of the police agency here. I've been working with Christy here and there. We've been talking a lot. And it's funny because I'll ask her and her team, well, how do you like what you do? And they don't even respond because their smiles from ear to ear, so that tells me everything. And I've never met so many positive and upbeat people in my 37-year career here as a police officer. I mean, everyone's been great to me, the residents, you have an outstanding team here. And I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to be part of this family and to move the department forward. And if any of you ever need me, I will supply you with my business card, my email's on there. I get my emails on my phone, and I will respond immediately. So, but if there's anything that you need from me, I'm there for you. If you have certain events that you want to get with me 3, 4, 5 times before the event, that's fine too, because I'm learning too as I go. So just glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, welcome, Chief, for sure. We're super glad to meet you finally. I've heard so much great things from Nick and the council, so I'll open it up to the board. Roger? Yeah.
I got a $10 ticket. Can you fix that?
Yeah. Well, I knew there'd be at least one of those companies.
Can you say that again, sir?
That wasn't my question. You know, I'm sorry I missed it, but what's your, just give me a brief little background of your, what your background is like?
Well, sure. My education, I have a master's degree from Eastern Michigan University in police administration / technology. My undergrad's from Wayne State in criminal justice psychology. I served 37 years in the city of Fraser as a public safety officer, so I'm cross-trained. I'm a police officer and a firefighter. I spent 11 years in Fraser as the director of public safety, so I oversaw police and fire operations. I retired there, and I went to Macomb Community College, hired me as the director of the Public Service Institute. I basically oversaw the police, fire, and EMS programs. And at the same time, I applied at the city of East Point as for the director of public safety. It was just more in my wheelhouse. So I went to East Point. I was a director of public safety there. I oversaw, again, the police and fire department for 5 years. I've done some teaching at Macomb Community College. I've taught some criminal justice classes. I am big into drug education. I am one of the founders of Families Against Narcotics. We started that program back in 2007. There's over 22 chapters here in Michigan. I plan on bringing some education programs here to Rochester. I belong to the Hope Not Handcuffs program. I've implemented many task forces for individuals that were selling heroin to our kids. So I'm big on the drug education. I also did a lot of undercover work. I worked 12 years as a undercover narcotics officer. A lot of fun. I worked all over the state of Michigan, many task forces. I've been in the FBI task force. I've done some stuff there with organized crime for several years. So I've been around the block. And the one thing I can say is, you know, now 37 years later, I still have that same passion when I graduated from the police academy. And that's what I do. I tell these guys, you have to treat every day like it's your last day, because it could be, but enjoy every minute. We just retired a sergeant. He had 33 years of service. And it's pretty sad how fast your career goes, a snap of the finger. So you have to take advantage of every opportunity you can and build that resume, because before you know it, you hit that magic retirement number, and there's it's just so open out there in the private sector for jobs, but they want supervision. So, but yeah, I've been around the block. I've done a lot of things. I've worked with the best. I've worked with some of the worst, but you know what? I have a good temperament, and I really I love what I do. This is who I am. I have a lot of support from my family. You know, I was going to retire 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm not the retired guy. I'll always have to work because I enjoy work and I like to stay busy. You know, we had a place up north. You know, instead of enjoying it, I would cut the grass twice, you know, in a week. So, because that's who I am. You'll see how I am. If you need something, I'm right with you. I don't, customer service is number one for me. I mean, you got to treat your customers like, you know, they're your family. So anybody calls with the most minute problem, it's a problem if they called me. So you have to address that immediately. So there's so many different things I want to focus on, but first I want to get to know the employees better. I'm going to meet with everybody. Once I meet everyone, I'm going to figure out what's going right, what's going wrong, what kind of adjustments we can make, and then I can formulate a strategic plan for the next 5 years here. So that's my plan.
Super impressive, thank you.
Thank you.
Lucky
Anything
to have
else?
you.
Anybody else?
I'm pumped, man. I'm like, yeah. So,
You said if you're not the retiring type, so if this doesn't work out for you, I have a job for you.
Okay.
My wife told me I'm not allowed to retire, so.
Well, you know, you have a passion. This is who I am. I feel like I was born to do this, and you know, I worked very hard throughout my whole career, and I've seen the most ugliest things, and I've seen the greatest things, so, but here I am, after all these years, just like Chief One, he's been doing this for 41 years, and, you know, he's gonna have a hard time leaving, but, at some time, we have to step aside and let someone else take over, so,
I'm sure Miss Jenny will keep him busy, so.
yeah.
Well, at least from the board, the DDA, I just wanted to welcome you. Thank you for, you know, choosing us, right? So the one thing about our community, I think a lot of the experience that you have are going to be super helpful, but I think it's going to be sort of, you know, our view is the customer service side of it, right? So tons of events, tons of stuff going on downtown. So you and Christy will be attached to the hip, and you're going to end up being Dr. No to her on a lot of things. So we'll try and
No,
the fun buster.
no.
Yeah,
Steve never was. I worked
yeah,
him
well,
over. He
always
knows
try to
how-
figure out a way to make it work, but if you can't, it's okay. But we appreciate that, and we value, we're looking forward to working with you. So, you know, from a person from the board, welcome. We're looking
Thank you.
forward to it.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you downtown and, you know, doing even the runs and everything else that happens. It's just, it's a 24/7, 365 job, unfortunately, so.
And I have to try one of those famous hot dogs.
Yeah, no, I know a guy. I know a guy. I know a guy.
promise I will one day.
I know a guy. Well, welcome, Chief, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, appreciate
Betcha.
it. Take care.
All righty, with that, front porch update. All right, so this is my turn. In your packet this evening is a memo from yours truly, was addressed to both council and this board. I just figured we'd kill two birds with one stone. So right around the 4th of July, I think right before it, started getting some pretty good indication as to numbers, where things were coming in at. And it was patently clear to this CPA that we were, you know, almost double of what the budget was. So as soon as the shock sort of wore off, wanted to figure out where the general costs were coming from. And as it turns out, the piece of property, the dirt itself, is ending up being a pretty big driver of the cost. So at that time, I just instructed the team, just put your pencils down, let's just chill for a bit and kind of take it all. Going into the holiday weekend, I was about to take off for the week. I was like, I just need to sort of, you know, digest it all. So in talking with, you know, sort of looking at everything holistically, we've got a couple of grant opportunities out there that we have not heard back on. We haven't heard back till the end of the summer. So my sense and my recommendation to the board is that we just sort of hit the pause button on everything, wait to see what happens with respect to the funding opportunities, which are not insignificant. I mean, it's like $2.5 million worth of funding. So let's just kind of see what happens. Well, let's get to the end of the summer, and then once we know, then we'll regroup and either, like Paul said, we're going to get the money. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be good. Yeah, he was the most upbeat, but I believe that too, and I believe in the power of positive thinking, and you know, we'll see what happens. But you know, at least now we know, and you know, fingers crossed. Everything else, you know, say a prayer and do whatever else you need to do. But I'm confident we'll get, if not all of it, at least some of it. And then once we figure out what we have to work with, and then we'll regroup and take another look at it. But, you know, to a person, I think the site plan that was developed was fantastic. I think the community really loved it. I think that it would be, at least in my estimation, the highest and best use of that particular parcel. So what I didn't want to do is get into an exercise of just sort of, you know, cutting and whacking and just for the sake of it. So let's wait and see. My recommendation, I'll, you know, defer to you guys, but my recommendation is just sort of wait to see what happens through the summer, and end of the summer, let's regroup once we know what we have to work with and what we don't have to work with. So that's sort of it. I'll open it up to the board for any questions. Madam Trent, yes, please.
Since
Yes.
I was at a lot of these meetings, and I know a lot of people invested a lot of time.
Yeah, we did.
It was quite a bummer.
It is.
I guess just a little clarification. It seems it's a little gray. I'm trying to understand. So you got the element, because when we were there, they're gonna break it down. We hired, the Reworld
Yep.
thing to get builders quotes, right?
Yep.
So did we get the builders quotes, or did they
The
just?
spreadsheet was starting to be put together, and I was starting to get preliminary numbers, and it was already approaching. I'm like, all right, hold on a second.
So you got
The dialogue was like, all right, should we start to value thrift it and just start whacking it? And by doing that, you're taking elements out that people had already said they wanted. So I'm like, all right, let's just put pencils down. Let's have this discussion and see what everybody wants to do. I made my recommendation. If the direction of the board is to go back and do the value thrifting and I'm just saying, this is our options.
I'm just
No,
trying
I'm
to
just saying.
understand what is the breakdown?
Right, well, you asked the question, I'm trying to answer the question, right? So you know, if the direction from the board was, yeah, we still want to do it, go back and start whacking away at it, let's see what we can pull out. And my recommendation is you start doing that, it's not what we told everybody we were going to do. So let's just wait and see what kind of money we have to work with if the grants come through, and then go from there.
I see, so you're saying if the grants come in at whatever number, or let's say it's looking like it's coming in at 5 million maybe?
In that area, yeah,
Area.
yeah,
So
before anything.
You're just trying to get a number,
Yep.
so you're saying that it's gonna be, like, maybe it's gonna be 3.5, 4 you get. So then you're gonna work with a real number and then go back to that list and try to.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll know what we have to work with, right?
And then you can go back. So you're
Right.
saying maybe not want to waste people's time to try to
100%.
guesstimate that we may not have, well, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, no.
clarify. I would.
Yeah, no, I
A
understand.
lot of words.
Yeah, we
My
don't.
little fuzzy brain. To
Yeah, no,
try to
100%.
get just to summarize, there is a number.
Well, there is a number.
but it's
We don't know what we don't know.
It's not finished yet, though, because you're not saying you're saying that it was a
I-
list
the-
that looked like.
It got to the point where it was way too much. I'm like, all right, let's just hit the brakes. Let's see what happens with, you know, the funding. And then once we get it, then we'll pick it back up. So the problem is that now we know what the projects and approximately cost. And like I said, the lion's share of the overage is
Well, that
because
was
of the
always
dirt.
going to be the problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I mean, we're not
I-
totally surprised.
I was.
I'm not.
I was.
Okay.
But as I'm trying to say is that, you know, we don't know what our funding's going to be. We won't know till the end of the summer, so I can't say, let's value engineer it or let's not, because I don't know what we have to work with. You know, it could come to pass at the end of the summer where we don't get any of it, and then we'll just have to, you know, I mean, it can go either way.
I see.
I choose to remain optimistic that, you know,
Yeah.
there's no reason not to. I think that we've got from a compelling case to both the feds and to the county and the state. I think both of them, the plans we put forth were very well received. And I have, you know, like I said, fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens.
Well, good luck. I hope it comes to pass.
Yes, indeed. Anybody else? Eric?
Mr. Chairman, I totally understand the thought process of like, hey, we need to wait. My only fear, just as someone who works with contractors constantly, our costs could rise in the interim so is there also some sort of consideration for that? And maybe that's like, hey, we're just gonna budget, like, it was X amount now, let's just add 25% to it. You know, is there any sort of like future projections that you're a CPA, so
Well,
like,
so we're talking about only a month or two when we're going to know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't really foresee, if it was like 6 months to a year, then yeah, for sure, right?
Right.
But we're going to know by the end of the summer. I mean, it's almost August already, right?
Okay.
So we're going to know by the end of September, I would suspect. And then we'll go from there. But I kind of, if you look at what's going on at the economy, things are slowing down, interest rates are going up. So that's going to drive the demand for construction downward, one would think, just from a development standpoint. So I'm hopeful that actually the opposite may end up happening, where guys are starting to look for work. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. That's just my, you know.
and I guess the other question I had was, are all of the quotes that were provided for us, are they locked in?
So what the construction manager does is puts together a budget based on what the estimate is for each one of those elements. That gives us sort of the, you know, educated wild guess. And then if approved, if council approved it, then it would actually go out to bid, and each one of those elements would be. so
And
we
they
get-
would lock themselves into.
Yeah, right. So that's the process.
Haven't done that yet.
Yeah, so we have not done that yet. So all that's happened so far is you've got somebody who's in the business that we hired to give us some real numbers, what they thought would take to get it done, and they are more than what we thought, so. Which, like I said, it is what it is. But better to know now than to, you know,
That's
right?
what
So,
we were
yeah,
always
done.
hoping, that you don't want to get too far in the weeds.
100%.
Yeah, this, the project is very fascinating to me. The projects that I've been involved in past are completely different. It's all automotive related. But the targets or the metrics are virtually identical. You have cost, obviously, you have timing, and you have expectations. And my encouragement or my vote is don't sacrifice the expectations. Because I've been involved in projects where they met timing, they met budget, and missed the expectations, and they turned into a nightmare.
Yeah.
They're forever going on, and in this case, we set expectations have been set with the general public. And if for whatever reason, those expectations are not met, we'll all be hearing about it for the next 10 years.
One of my
10
biggest
years.
fears, you're singing to the choir, so yeah, no, you know, but to a person, you know, the community, we presented twice, we had two visioning sessions or two introduction sessions, both very well received as to the elements and all the deliverables we were doing, so that's what they want, so we're gonna try and make it happen, and I think we're gonna make it happen. I'm feeling very good about it. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Okay, this is how I look at this project. We have 2 million saved. Next year, we'll have 3 million. Now, between 3 and 4 million, we're close. We haven't even started working this project yet. So I still think we're in the ballgame. I'm very optimistic we can still do this thing. We're not that far off.
And with the grants that we hope
Yeah,
we're
we
gonna
have the
get,
grants. We
would
can
be
do
in good
this.
shape.
Yeah, this is not, in no way is this a dire or a termination of the project. Like I said, let's just wait and see what happens by the end of the summer, and then, once we know, we'll have knowledge of budget, and we'll have knowledge of what money we have to work with, and then.
And if we get extra money, hot dog fountain.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, with chili, yes. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so we talked about this in executive committee, I agree with, let's wait and see, and things. You know, I will say this, though, that it's hard to have faith in this architect. When you're off by double, that just seems outrageous to me. So, you know, he knew what the budget was, he did a project, and it's 2 million, you know, it's double. Well, it's that's not a little miss. That's an outrageous miss. And I think we need to look at that. We paid that person a lot of money, and that's what we came up with. I think we need to talk about that.
Yep.
Or that needs to be, and again, maybe there's lots of good reasons and things, but that doesn't work in the real world. I don't think. Mr. Bloomingdale, you said, here's the house I'm gonna build, and it was double the price. I don't think people would think too much of that.
It's always the art of the deal, you know,
Right,
as
so-
Don said, there's expectations, and I've sat with a lot of clients who have a level of what they want, and they don't really want to compromise on it, and they have a budget of what they want to spend, and they don't really want to compromise on that either, and they don't always line up perfectly, you know, so.
But there's perfectly, and there's
Yeah, there is.
way off.
There is.
And that makes me,
I think the
concerned
design was
about-
primarily driven by, what do we want to see at the end of the day? And then we rely on a professional like Rewald to put their expertise to it and say, here's what we believe a reasonable budget would be. And, you know, that's, the two of them weren't necessarily working together on that. So I wouldn't be too quick to say that the architect over-designed it. Personally, I feel like he designed what we asked him to design. That's how I feel about it.
so then that was on us then, that we were saying that it's double the price?
No, because we don't know until we get it designed what it's gonna cost.
I'm just saying is, I think we should have had a little better professional opinion, because we're not in that business.
Yeah, no,
And that's all.
yeah, point taken. I think for whatever reason, it feels like every project we do in this community ends up costing twice as much and taking twice as long, right? The community house is the same way, so, but yeah, so all of these are very important points, and I agree 100%. We'll just wait till the end of the summer, see what happens, and then we'll sort of revisit it. But like I said, from at least me watching it, part of it probably is what we asked to have done, and that drove cost. But the lion's share of it was really just sort of site, and you really don't know into that until you start talking to a seal, and she does all of her stuff and everything else. So it's just, like I said, at this point, I don't want to overthink it. Let's just wait till the end of the summer and see what happens, and then we'll revisit it at that point in time.
One more question.
Yes, please.
Now that this, okay, so, I was in all the meetings, so I was there. So going forward, now that this has happened, one might look at past things that happened, like this was missed by twice as much. would they understand that we can't, it's not gonna cost like 10 million next time?
Oh,
Because,
yeah,
I
no,
mean,
'cause
is there- I mean, that does make you.
Sure.
You know, I mean, if I did that to my client, I'm not the happiest, they're not the happiest with me.
Right. No, I think now that we've gotten a professional construction manager to put the numbers to it, this is what it'll be, given all the elements. So I don't think that that's the case at all. But, you know, I've been proven wrong before, and if that's the case,
can't-
every time I ask for something, it's like, when the Tom Hanks and Shelley Long, and everything was 2 weeks, right? It's like, 2 weeks.
The money pit.
Yeah, Money Pit, yeah, that's it, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to beat the horse dead. I think we're pretty much all on the same page, it feels like. Let's just sort of let it ride, and once we know, we'll figure it out from there. Yes, Don?
One quick question. Was there one specific item that drove the cost?
Well, like I
Was it
said, for me,
removing-
as they were going down the list, it was, you know, the ground prep and kind of getting it together. That was the biggest chunk of getting it, because the piece of property is
On a slope.
on a slope, so it's really hard to do. So, there's different elements. Once it got to the point, I did not go through and pick, pick at line items of the budget. I was just looking at a macro level, and I just was like, all right, let's just hit the brakes and wait and see what happens, once we figure out what the funding is. Because, like I said, the alternative are gonna be, we either get funding, and this discussion is moot, we'll be fine, or we don't, and then we'd have to decide what we want to do there. But that's something we're not going to decide at this meeting this evening. It's going to happen, probably in Q4 of this year or later. Maybe even goals and objectives, at the end of the year, so.
Can we see that spreadsheet?
I don't even know if it's fully completed. I can ask for it, but.
Don't kill me. Okay, just one more question. So it's mostly more than a straw man, right?
Mostly more than a straw man. I'm not following.
Okay, so a straw man is like, here's just some numbers.
Yeah, it's a bullshit argument. So what?
So what I'm saying so the 5 million is a good number now to look at?
Yes.
It's not, because it's sounding like it's great.
It's not the real number.
Okay.
It's
Alright.
higher than it was. That's not the number.
But it wasn't 5 million.
It wasn't 5 million.
It just was twice as much.
My point is that I told them to stop working on the budget until, there's no point. The
Okay.
next discussion was going to be, all right, so what can we get rid of? What can we do this? And if you guys want to go down that road, I'm happy to do that. I just didn't think it was worth everybody's time. Let's just wait to see what kind of money we got to work with. Then we can go through that exercise.
And then we have to communicate that to the community. And
Right.
And
So
then that's where.
we're trying to answer questions we don't have all the answers
Exactly.
to right at the moment. So, I'm as disappointed as the next person in this room, right?
Truly, it's
Yeah,
disappointing.
let's not set
But I'm
fires till we know how much
optimistic.
wood we have
I'm
to
still
burn.
Yeah,
optimistic.
I don't, it was, okay, I'm gonna get these questions, I thank you, I
Okay.
appreciate your.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Good, I think we've killed that one. Downtown maintenance walk update, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Okay, Monday, we did our yearly maintenance walk. Usually we do it in one day, but this year we took time. We went through Main Street, we worked the west side only. We worked Main Street, and the town looked great. I mean, there's a few minor painting, a couple boards they have to replace, but since 5 years ago to now, the town looks great. Our biggest problem was with MDOT, the utility boxes, where you pressed across the street. It looks horrible. So I think Alec was gonna work on that. Was he the one, or Jason, one of the two were? And then we concentrated on the alleys. We spent a lot of time in the alleys. And our alleys look great, especially on that side. For a few weeds, I mean, our alleys compared to a lot of cities, big difference. Now, next Thursday, we're spending the day on the east side. We're gonna hit the park, we're gonna hit the alleys on that side, and we're gonna go through on Main Street also, so. But I tell you, the town looks great. It just needs a few of the buildings need a little kick, but, I mean, we should be proud of our city.
What time's next Thursdays?
8:30. It's Thursday, right? Chris? Yeah, it's Thursday, 8:30.
Thursday at 8:30?
Yeah, 8:30.
And we're meeting at the DDA office?
Yeah, at the DDA office. Everybody's welcome again. It's a nice morning. We walk and
Sure,
it's a
I've
good,
been
it's a
on
good
those
morning.
before. It's
a good
great.
morning. But the town looks good, except for a few minor things.
It does. I mean, we've been here for years, so it does look a lot better than it used to.
Oh,
Okay.
big time. I remember when we started with Vito, it was rough. I mean, it was rough,
It wasn't great.
but
Yeah, well, the fire department stepping up the politeness has been effective, so we encourage everybody to continue to step the politeness up and, it's pride in the community.
Yeah, they're keeping it up. The
Make sure
businesses are
that you
keeping
tell
it up.
everybody what they need to do and put some behind it.
Oh.
That's putting the
Oh,
politeness up, okay?
So that's the reason it's better, because people are being told to clean things up.
They're given.
But MDOT, they have to kick it up,
everything.
because it's horrible. A lot of those utility boxes, I mean, it's embarrassing. Ruins the whole look of downtown.
Okay, I'm glad you did that. No, because I know you were disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that's good, and I apologize for missing, I texted Christie, I was sitting at my desk at work in Beverly Hills, I'm like, oh crap, I should be at your office right now, not at mine, so, whoopsie. Okay, so with that, regular reports, executive director update.
Just a couple things. The Bill LaPuma Community Spirit Award, I mentioned this last month that we introduced it. Nominations are open. We have 16 so far. The deadline is end of August, so if you know anyone that might be a great candidate for this, please encourage them. If they go to our website under the What's Happening, click on the link. It's a photo of Bill and Tony, and it'll take you right to the link on the jot form that you can go ahead and submit your nomination. We're not doing it by popular vote, so for some people that I think there's a certain individual who's running a campaign to get this nomination. We go for quality, not quantity, so you don't have to get everyone to send in yours as a suggestion. So there's that. Let's see, at the very top of mind, as Ben was talking about the grants, all the applications are in now, so it's a waiting game for us. Oakland County put our MEDC one in as a part of their sub-grant, so we're just waiting to hear from the county where that will go. And then last but not least, I had kind of told the story up here, I'm not gonna get too far into it, but Friday night when that straight wind came through and the hail and the water and all the things, it was amazing that while we're standing there realizing that 4th Street had just gotten decimated and we're supposed to have Dancing in the Street, my phone is literally ringing, Chief Schettenhelm, Chief C's like, what do you need? How can we help? Of course, my answer at that moment was, I don't know, but we figured it out, and they showed up, then all of a sudden, here's DPW in my back of our building with the biggest fan I've ever seen in my life and a shop vac, and everybody's just trying to help us out, because the studio was flooding at the same time the 4th Street was flooding. So it was awesome. It was a big day. But a big thank you to everybody. Everybody always just, as Chief George said, everybody just shows up. It's a big family, and everybody helps out. And things. So we really appreciate that, and I wanted to recognize them for that, as well as my own team, because Taylor and Jenna, of course, they don't complain, they don't do anything. We're all out there standing in water, soaked to the gills, in our third outfits of the day, trying to figure out what to do, and it's really an honor to work for such a great team. So that's it for me.
Fantastic. Was that dovetailing events and marketing?
I'd just like to mention this Saturday at the market, we're doing a new event called Dog Days of Summer. We have these really cute dog bandanas that Taylor designed that say local pup in the Love Local Rochester script, and then instead of a heart, it's a paw print. It's very sweet. So we're giving those away free to the first doggos. Dogs must be present to receive a bandana. In addition to that, we have it's actually in the ad, trust me, we'll get these questions. Also there, we have Leader Dogs is going to be on hand with the puppy raisers, so we'll have some puppies to meet. And then we're also having a photo spot for you and your pups, which also we're going to attempt to move this balloon photo spot, God help us all, over for Movies in the Moonlight Saturday Night, which is DC League of Super Pets. So we're kind of double dipping our budget, trying to make the most of it. But yes, if you have a pup and you want to come to the market, I would highly recommend it. It's going to be super cute, and we'll be there.
Is there a size limit?
So they only had two options. We have small bandanas and we have big bandanas.
I have a 130-pound dog.
Eric's gonna need a big one.
You might have to put like a little, like they could do it and then we put like little clips on it, like a little necklace situation.
Like it's a dentist?
Yes, precisely, yes.
Big dog, man.
Ben's seen him.
Yeah, he's beef, man. That boy gets around.
Yes.
No.
Maximus. So.
Yeah, he's giant. All right, fantastic. Thank you for that. Oh, anything else?
I need to
Sorry.
get my notes right for council, so
Oh.
I misunderstood where is it? The farmer's market?
It's at the farmer's market.
And this coming one?
This one, it's on the
Oh, there it
22nd.
is.
It's for Dog Days of Summer.
And what time does it start?
8 to 1.
Okay.
It's all, the whole time.
Well, at least I can.
We
share
will be
that.
there with the doggos.
See if one of the kids can bring Guido down with his red belly from peeing on the freshly cleaned fire hydrant.
I did see that photo. That was,
Yeah.
that was great.
My dog. It's the best ever. Financial report is in your packet. If there's any questions, feel free to address the director or myself at any time. Biz Dev.
Well, we went over in the new openings and closings and who's here and what else would you have to handle?
Holiday Expo,
Right,
that has,
Holiday Expo.
we have the date of November 13th at the hotel. And the reservations for that will start August 1st. We're going to go ahead and put those out into the community. It's a partnership with the chamber. So first round, it will be to the downtown businesses and then the chamber members. And then any spaces available after that, we will go to the general community to fill.
And we will have space outside too this time.
If we need it,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah, we kind of are moving a few things around, taking out some of the tables, but
Something we'd
still
like to keep
having enough
expanding it,
people. But they did offer the gallery, which is that area right outside the ballroom, if we did need to expand or at least move the food out there or do something, so we have enough room for all the things we would like to do in that room.
Do we have a cost for vendors yet?
Sure, vendor tables, the cost is remaining the same. It's $100 for a vendor table that includes your table, linens, chairs, and a small sign. If you would like to step up and be a sponsor, we have, there's a total of 10 of those spots available. That's $300. You get a little bit larger table. It's an 8-foot table and all the other amenities, plus you have access to electrical and you're on the wall, so you have a little bit more
And
access
how
to
many
everything.
more sponsorships are available?
There's 8, so for the $300 level, there's 2 people sitting here who already took 2, so I have 8 of those. Thank you very much. So 8 of those, and then of the actual tables, we have 55. So total of 65 vendors we can accommodate
to your
in one way or
neighbors.
the other. Yes, so but August 1st, that'll all go out because we're still working on the Christmas in July campaign that we've been doing this summer where we rolled out Festival of Trees. Chris Kringle just went live at about 40 minutes ago on the site, things like that. When we also let out the Snowman Stroll and Festival of Trees, which was in your packet as well, and did all that because we're trying to get all that rolling. Snowmen are on order, they're coming.
Excellent.
Yep.
Any questions for the director? Thank you for your update. Site dev?
No,
Other than the tour?
That's it.
All right, sounds good. All right, with that, 40 minutes? Horrible?
Not bad, not bad.
Very good. Meeting adjourned.
Acre freaking lot. So much. I'm shocked.